Hi, today my team is here to deliver a presentation on Node.js using Visual Studio Code. My team consists of 5 members: Moksha, Sushrit, Ayan, Nishan, and Shaurya. What is Node.js? Node.js is an open source server environment that runs on the V8 engine, which is developed by Google. In simple words, Node.js is server-sided JavaScript. Node.js is highly performant and is widely used in building systems that are optimized to handle concurrent requests. Installation of Node.js and setting it up. Steps to install Node.js. Step 1. First, we need to install Node.js. Go to Node.js website using the URL. Step 2. We need to click Recommended for most users and save Windows installer package. Step 3. Open the corresponding saved path and double-click the Windows installer package and click Run. Now, Node.js setup window will open. Click Next and the Node.js window opens. Step 4. Click I accept the terms in the license agreement and then click Next and select the location to install and click Install. Node.js is successfully installed. Installation of VS Code. The installation of VS Code has the following steps. Follow the link to download the VS Code. Once the file is downloaded, follow the on-screen instructions in order to install VS Code. After the installation is complete, launch VS Code. That's it. You can use VS Code for code editing. You just need to install extensions corresponding to your requirements and go. Running Node.js files in VS Code. Once we are done with the installation of VS Code and Node.js, running Node.js files becomes super easy. You can run Node.js files in VS by following the steps below. Open the folder in VS Code which has the Node.js files that are to be run. Then, in order to run the files, open the integrated command line interface in VS Code by navigating to the terminal in the menu bar at the top and then by opening a new terminal. The same thing can also be achieved by following the shortcut Ctrl+Shift in Windows. Then just write the following command followed by the file name, node file_name. That's it. Using this command and CLI integrated with VS Code, we can run Node.js executables in VS Code.
Moving on to the next slide, we have an example server using VS Code. Here we have a code which is written in Node.js, and the code sets up a web server that listens for any incoming requests on the port 8080. The first line of the code imports the core HTTP module in Node.js, which provides functionality for creating and interacting with HTTP servers and clients. The second line of the code creates a server object using createServer method of the HTTP module. The method takes a function as an argument, which will be executed every time a request is made to the server. The function takes two arguments, REQ and RES, which represents the incoming requests and the response that will be sent back to the client. The next line we have server.listen8080. This line tells the server to listen on the port 8080 for incoming requests. The listen method is called on the server object that was created in the previous line. In the next line we have console.log hello. This line logs the message hello to the console when the server is started up. In the exact next line we have console.log Node.js web server at port 8080 is running. This line logs the message Node.js web server at port 8080 is running to the console whenever the server is started up. It lets you know that the server is running it and listening up for incoming requests on the port 8080. This is what the code was about to start a Node.js server. Moving on to the next slide, we have the syntax explanation. Console.log. This is used to output the given text or variables onto the console window and display the text. As we used it in the previous slide, in the previous example program, we had used to display the text hello and the text Node.js web server at port 8080 is running. Then next we have the require keyword. This keyword is used to import a module of JavaScript onto the program, and we have used this in the previous slide to import the HTTP module. The next we have var, which is variables in JavaScript, which are initialized with the var prefix. For example, we have var I is equal to 10, where I is a variable. Create server. This method of HTTP creates a Node.js server that runs in the background and responds to any request made to the server. We shall move on to the next slide and look into starting a server in Node.js using VS. When you start a simple Node.js server, it creates an HTTP server instance that listens for incoming requests on specific ports. After you run the code in VS Code, the server instance will be created and it will listen for any incoming request on that specified port. So in our case, as given in this particular slide, we have used the port 8000. So we have server.listen 8000. So to access or navigate this to your browser, we just type localhost 8000. If you are in a different port, like we had used the port 8080 in the previous example, you should type localhost and your port number. That is, if we are starting a server for the previous example, I shall type localhost 8080. So whenever a request is received, Node.js will call your request handler function with requests and response objects. You can use these objects to read data from requests and send back it to the response. The server will continue to run and handle incoming requests until you stop the code by pausing. Moving on to the next slide, where we shall look how to stop a server in Node.js using VS Code. When you stop a Node.js server, it stops listening for incoming requests and shuts down the server. Once the server has been stopped, it will no longer be running and will not be able to handle any incoming requests. Meanwhile, it will also release any resource that were being used by the server instance. This includes releasing the port that was being used by the server to listen for any incoming requests. To stop a running server, click on the red square button right next to the run button, as shown in the slide. Now we can try to access the server using the same process by entering localhost 8000 in the URL bar of the browser. Then the page will read "can't be reached" as shown in the slide, or you should receive any such message based on your browser. Moving on to the next slide, where we should look into the applications of Node.js. The first is social media apps and platforms. We know that many social media apps and platforms such as Twitter, LinkedIn also are written in Node.js using JavaScript framework. Online publishing platforms. One of the biggest and the best known platforms, Medium, is also Node.js based application. Medium is a free blogging platform like WordPress and Blogger. It also provides the facility to read amazing and unique articles from organic monthly visitors. Single page apps and sites. Gmail is a Node.js single page app that shows recent messages instantly by restoring AJAX, that is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. The fast runtime environment of Node.js allows handling heavy database loads with excellent efficiency. Internet of Things, or IoT. IoT Node.js projects refer to physical tools that share and exchange information via internet, such as beacons and sensors. Moving on to the next slides, where we shall look into the pros and cons of Node.js. Advantages of Node.js: high performance for real-time application, easy scalability for modern application, easy to learn and quick to adapt, improves app response time and boosts performance, reduces loading time by quick caching. Disadvantages of Node.js: reduces performance when handling heavy computing tasks. Node.js invites a lot of code changes due to unstable API. Node.js asynchronous programming model makes it difficult to maintain code. Lack of library support can endanger your code. High demand with a few experienced Node.js developers. So that's all from our team. Thank you.